So, God bless you. Thank you for joining me. I share my successes and I share my failures too. This is a failure of mine. But here's the thing, because I don't have an ego, if I can share this failure and it helps all of us do better and be better, I will absolutely do that. So, I want to share as I'm laughing here to myself. I called this a day of disappointment, and I'm going to tell you what happened, what my thoughts were, and then really what my thoughts should have been. So I had some things happen all kind of on the same day. I had been out running some errands and I grabbed a coffee at a place. And when I got the cup and I went through the drive through, it just felt really light. And I thought, I don't really think there's any coffee in here. But I got to my next place and I had 4 sips and I opened the cap and the cup literally was half filled with whipped cream. And I thought, well, this isn't coffee. This isn't what I had ordered. I looked at the label and I saw what I ordered, but clearly what I got in the cup was some other sort of thing. And for the price of it being a medium, and I didn't even think it had any volume to it. And I thought, this is such a disappointment. Then I had to go 3 places to get some hash browns because every place was out, some shredded hash browns. Then, because now it's about noon and I hadn't eaten since lunch the day before, so it'd been about 24 hours, I thought I'm going to grab a sandwich to bring home and then start my chores at home. And so the gal that waited on me, she was actually pretty rude. The music was pretty loud. I had a hard time hearing her as I'm ordering. And she said, that's not what I asked you. And so it just really was not a good exchange. And I walk out of there thinking, this is such a disappointment. And I was like, this is my day of disappointment. And I'm laughing. And then I realize how ridiculous it is that I'm calling this a day of disappointment. I mean, we here in America, if this is a day of disappointment, we are so utterly ridiculous in our day in our train of thought. I mean, for me to call this a day of disappointment where we live in a place where there's running water, we have working septic, we have working sewer, we have easy access to medical care, we have a roof over our head. I mean, for me to call this a day of disappointment, I'm laughing at myself at my ridiculous response. So, because I have no ego, I'm going to share this and I'm going to make a video about it. And that's really going to help all of us, because what I want to do is share these things that I have done wrong in my thought process so that you, if you're in the same circumstance, you kind of catch yourself. So, I'm driving home and I'm scolding myself for thinking this was a day of disappointment, because our lives are so blessed beyond any kind of measure that this is my day of disappointment, because the coffee hardly had any coffee in it, and because I had to go to 3 different places for hash browns, and then the customer service gal was rude to me. I mean, really, that is ridiculous that I would say to myself, this is a day of disappointment, and I recognize that. So what does it say in First Thessalonians at the very last chapter, chapter 5, verse 16 and through 18? It says this: rejoice always, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Rejoice always. Rejoice always. It doesn't say rejoice except for when you have a day of disappointment, or rejoice except for when your coffee is like a quarter of a cup. It doesn't say any of those things. It says rejoice always. And if I can embarrass myself and say that I called it a day of disappointment and that I told myself how ridiculous I was for thinking this was a day of disappointment, then I will share that in my time with all of you. Armor up. Be right at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.